From AI to Web3, I wish we could say the same about Web3. No more winters coming, only sun and springtime ahead for us. Web3 has been a part of TOA actually since 2012. Gavin Wood back then presented Ethereum pre-launch. I hear some people in the audience got really rich buying at a few cents on the ICO. So it's always been a part of TOA's journey. And my dad still sends me WhatsApp messages telling me I should sell everything I own in crypto because I will eventually lose everything. But there are people joining the space with really gravitas, and we have two of them here today, really prolific founders and managers that maybe give a little bit of a counterweight to all the FUD that we keep hearing as well. So let's welcome our first speaker here, Cevat Yerli, one of Europe's most successful gaming founders, and really excited to have you now, the founder of the Tomorrow Foundation, talking about the future of Web3. Thank you.
Hi, Josef. Thank you.
Got it?
Hello, everybody. I'm going to do this in English, right? So I'm here to talk about Web3, the very foundation for an accessible Web3. My name is Cevat Yerli, and as it has been said, I'm the founder of the games company called Crytek. Some of you may have heard about it, or may have even played one or two games of mine, hopefully. Far Cry, Crysis, anybody? No? Anyway, so yeah, we with Crytek have built back then the disruptive world's first 3D engine that changed the way people create games. But I'm not here to talk about games. I'm here to talk about the future of the internet. I'm talking about here today about sustainable, profitable business models, and also how technology has a role to shape the future of humanity overall. And what we are building, or what I founded for that goals, is a Tomorrow Foundation. And Tomorrow Foundation is working on what we call the Internet of Life, which is accessible, highly scalable, but also purposeful version of the Web3. And here's a small video to give you a glimpse of the Internet of Life.
Power of reality. We will come together in familiar ways. We will connect as people for all kinds of reasons. It will be a safe place for everyone to join in. No matter where you come from, no matter where you are. An internet built on reality. We call it Internet of Life.
So we are in an interesting time right now. What's happening is that we are at the cusp of a change of the internet from a 2D internet to a 3D internet, from an internet that is alone to an internet that is together. That's our view. But the world views it as a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that is right now designed around all kinds of business models, which are a circle of an old-school business model. What I mean with that is, it's really about selling you something by taking benefit of you, your data, or taking benefit of the planet by selling you new products that require new sources to be used, right? Resources. And instead of using, for example, what exists already. And by this vicious cycle of selling and using your data for profit, and then repeating this, we are in this trap, which is creating a society that is taking benefit from. Yeah, it's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that is going to take a look at the past and amplify this. And I think we need to change this. I think we need to look at a vision of a future where technology serves people, technology serves planet, and then should create sustainable types of profits. And the way to do that is we have to build a vision, a technology, or a Web3 initiative, as we call it, Internet of Life, based on technology or foundations that already exist. We, for example, are not requiring VR headsets. VR headsets are requiring you to spend anywhere between $500 to $3,500 now, right? Recently announced, which are, again, great for escapism and great for certain things. But when it comes to the serving human needs, it has to be more inclusive. It has to be more based on existing devices. 4 billion people today have internet-accessible devices. Everyone has a mobile phone. Everybody has more or less a tablet or laptop, right? And so Reality OS, the foundation of Internet of Life, the foundational technology, is running on existing technology, existing hardware infrastructure, where consumers have spent hundreds of billions of dollars already. 4 billion people have spent hundreds or thousands of dollars already. So that's a very important point. We're also focusing on real people. Inspired by reality means we're focusing on you. You as the person that sits with other people across face-to-face for all kinds of purposes. Yeah, reality, inspired by reality means also like being real, authentic, not in an avatar, not behind a mask. Imagine we all would be actually dressed up as some kind of avatars. We couldn't look into each other's face properly. We wouldn't see the reaction of the person. I think by being about real people, by avoiding a technology gap, we are selling a hardware, but instead being inclusive and accessible and real, we lay the foundation for a very social, a very social-based internet of the future, which is about getting together. Togetherness is the key word of the future of the internet. We are moving away from an internet of places where you interact with information or find information about people into a place where you get together for all kinds of purposes. The purpose itself is inspired by reality, right? For example, we go to doctors, or we go to schools, or we go to work meetings. 99% of your life, you're getting together with other people to transact some kind of value. For me, that's a much more compelling vision of an internet. If I can do this with anybody in the world, across the planet, at a click of a button, at any device we already own, right? That's expanding the future of the internet into a new dimension. And it also fundamentally empowers your life. As opposed to making you escape reality, we're telling you you can enhance your life. We are serving people by empowering your reality. We are serving planet by enabling access across the planet at a click of a button. We are driving some kind of new profits that are the most sustainable of kind. Here, this is about using infrastructure, saving the planet. It's about empowering people across each other, across distances, to get together. For example, 3 kids in Africa, China, in US could, with one click, sit together and come up with the next revolution for whatever idea that they are working on. This is empowering people without compromise. As I mentioned, the internet so far was around information. If I look at the last 20 years, the first internet was about information. The second internet was the social internet, right, where you connected with people, where you followed people. We are looking about the third internet, which is about getting together. Getting together is the eternal source of business. Yeah, since millennia, we are social animals. We have to get together to build all kinds of relationships for all kinds of purposes, for all kinds of businesses, right? It's a fundament of being alive. And it's a fundament that's deeply rooted in the human DNA. We cannot take this away. So if we focus on this eternal source of getting together as the very foundation of the future of the internet, we will build one that serves your needs, that serves the needs of humanity, to build relationships, to build bridges, to close the gaps, and to empower everybody. So the Internet of Life is too big for all of us. Too big for us for sure. It's a 10 trillion plus opportunity. So we're not going to do this by ourselves, obviously. We are not alone in this. We are together in this. We are committed towards a sustainable as in doing the right thing for people, doing the right thing for planet. We are looking at a mission where we all together join forces and shape the future of the internet that is an internet that we should be looking back decades later and say, we all shaped it together. Together for our kids, together for the new generation, together for today, in a way that empowers all of you, in a way that does not create an obstacle where, oh, to join that internet, you have to buy first this device, then you have to install that software. An internet has to run on today's internet. And reality was an Internet of Life are laying the foundation that is accessible today for you all to build the future of the internet in a way where every application you come up with will bring people together. And that togetherness, I want to repeat that word often because it's really important. Togetherness is the future. Hence, join us and let's build the future of the internet together. Thank you very much. That is for me.
Thank you, Cevat. Thank you so much. And actually, you'll be joined by your two lovely, well, advisory board members. So please give a warm welcome, Stefanie Palomino, who's been a TOA friend for many years, I think, from Room 3D. First one, 2012. And we have Josef Ackermann, former CEO of Deutsche Bank and now advisory board member of the Tomorrow Foundation.
Thank you so much for everybody joining. I'm very honored to moderate this panel. And so I'm Stefanie Palomino, CPO and General Manager from Room 3D. This is the first manifestation of Cevat's vision of the Internet of Life made by the Tomorrow Foundation. Ackermann, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a big honor. And I would love to address you for the first question. So you built a career on building really meaningful connections and really made so the world banking much better. So do you have any advice for us, what we could incorporate from your learnings on the way?
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Well, my advice will not be technical. I'm not an expert. I'm just the chairman of the advisory board. But let me try to answer your question. As you all know, if you run a global company, you have to travel a lot because you want to show respect, you want to show empathy, and you want to understand what's going on in different cultures and in different countries. And when the pandemic hit us, we have seen that traveling becomes much more difficult, but also for economic and ecological reasons, traveling became a challenge. So when Cevat approached me some years ago, I immediately was intrigued by his vision and by his philosophy and his values. Then we to create something which brings reality to your home, so without traveling. And that is how it all started. And I have to say, my daughter is a bit more involved in technical questions, so I asked her what I should do, and she said, Cevat is a genius because I know him from gaming, so join him. That's why I'm here.
You just said it, the COVID crisis actually was really making these values even much more important. What is really the need people have, what you foresee?
Well, I think we are all in people's businesses, and social cohesion is so important. And we have seen that, of course, during the pandemics, but also actually it started before, that this becomes very difficult. And if you can create something where you stay in a room together, like in real life, and not, on a flat screen or with headsets on or with avatars, some artificial puppets running around. No, real people. someone sitting in Rio de Janeiro, someone in Tokyo, and someone here in Berlin, and you have the feeling, even having an alpine environment behind you maybe, that you are really sitting in the same room. And what is even more important, that you can conceptualize, that you can work on. You have a chart in front of you, and you can work together and develop new ideas, new concepts. And that is absolutely a great concept.
So Cevat, yeah, talking about Web3, so where you see there the needs for the people and how we should prioritize that?
Yeah, first of all, again, I want to say, Dr. Ackermann, thanks for joining us today. And again, good morning as well. I forgot to address all of you. I was a bit nervous, believe it or not, after being so often on stage, I still get nervous every single time. So the most important thing, what we want to focus on is making technology more human, right? Bringing the human factor into technology. We think that by being inspired by reality is the most important thing. We don't want to escape reality. Yeah. While I think escaping reality is important for part of your day, right? Everybody has a hard work, like maybe a tough day, and he wants to escape into a game. Hey, I'm guilty of that myself. I built video games for a big part of my life. But I think when we look at the future of computing and the future of the internet has to serve people. It has to be about the human experience. And the most important gift and the most important service internet can do for us in our lifetime and forever in the future is to allow us to get together as human beings, right? That's our take on it. And the human factor here, the human experience means technology should make you forget at this point that it facilitates a get-together experience. I.e., if I sit together with somebody online, my mind should forget that actually I was virtually together. It should feel like I was really together. And there's this concept that is called the memory palace. Memory palace is a neuroscientific term, not coined in by us. It's an actual term by scientists, how people memorize 3D real experiences in life. So what happens is information in real life is stored into the memory palace. This spatial information. When we want to remember something, we revisit the memory palace and re-experience that. Technology today has failed to create memory palaces unless it's been in a video game. Why? Because in video games, people get together for fun. So we are inspired by that aspect, but we don't want to get together as soldiers or as like racing cars. What we want to get together is as real people in a game-inspired way. And so the human experience is that part powered by gaming-like technology, but allowing us to build memory palaces over the internet, right? So human experience is focused. Accessibility is key. The second point, and I know I'm answering a long version of the answer. Accessibility is key because only when technology is accessible to everybody, technology can kick into a network effect. And an effect where the benefit of the network gets stronger the more people get into the network, right? And so by being accessible, by being in the browser, by being one click away, everybody can access today the future of the internet. Nobody has to buy very expensive, very shiny, very nice devices. Yeah? You already have shiny, nice devices in your pockets. You have to click on them, right? And then you get together over the internet. And so accessibility is key. Scalability means everybody can use it and it will run. It's running on very optimized infrastructure, means that billions of people could be on it tomorrow. Yeah, please tell billions of people to be on it tomorrow. So it's possible immediately. So accessible, scalable, and human experience. These are my focuses.
I think it's so inspiring. You bring all this knowledge from your past into the future to build the future. Dr. Ackermann, so from your experience from the banking world, what you could share with us, what we should bring into this new Internet of Life?
Well, as Cevat said, first of all, it has to be accessible but also affordable. I mean, you can, on your cell phone, you have immediately a three-dimensional internet, which is a great achievement. But for banking and for all companies, it's very important, because if you remember some of the collapses we have seen recently, it's because the combination of social media, rumors on social media, and digitization. Instead of having to call or sending a letter or calling your banker, you immediately transfer your funds with a click from one bank to the other. And that has created an absolutely new momentum and a new challenge for banking. So in the future, to have a way to communicate at any time with the relationship manager in your company is a great achievement. And I think that is especially something which we can use also in banking, but in other companies. You want to have advice. You want to see people on the screen which you trust, whom you know, whom you can relate to. And I think that is the big advantage.
And you said this before, empathy is one of those big cornerstones, and actually it's a very nice anecdote. Whoever is starting in the company, and we have this survey when you start, and it's very interesting, the most important skill everybody, wherever, is answering empathy. And I think this is something, and tomorrow what all unites us. Yeah. So also when we looking at the Tomorrow Foundation, is there any project was so far very inspiring to you?
Well, you have seen in the short video, for instance, the schooling side, which is great. I mean, we have all seen during the pandemic, it didn't work so well, to be honest, the whole digitization. But if you had, the feeling of being in a room with the same teacher in front of you, that would be great. But even maybe more important in health issues, if you could go with your kids who maybe suffer from whatever disease, instead of traveling to see the doctor or the hospital, you could do that, and your child would feel somewhat familiar with the environment because she or he has been there before. And I think that would be a tremendous help, even for children, but also for parents in such a situation. And that is a project which we are developing, and I think that's a very important one also for humankind in general.
So people all talk about crisis, poly-crisis. The world seems to be going worse every day, but we also see a lot of optimism. So what do you see, what's there in the moment makes you optimistic?
Well, I think such a conference shows and demonstrates that there is a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of optimism still in place, rightly so, by the way. And that's why I joined the advisory board. We have an advisory board who is really composed of a lot of people with leadership qualities in politics, in advisory, in legal, in other areas. And we meet every month, virtually every month, and for several hours, and everybody tries to contribute as much as we can. But having said that, it's a hard journey. We are not yet at the end. I think it will need a lot of work putting into that endeavor, and we will probably see successes and failures. That is always the case in new ventures. That's why I always like to quote the American poet Robert Frost, who said, we have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep, and we are not sleeping yet.
Thank you, Dr. Ackermann. And yeah, thank you for every month. I can say he gives extremely good feedback. I can really recommend him as an advisory board member. So, Cevat, do you have any closing words for us?
Yes, I think it's always critical to understand the past, to know where the future goes, right? We need to learn from the mistakes, we need to learn from, and we always have to step out of our life and sometimes and reanalyze what's going on actually, what's going on with my data. For example, recently a very big search company announced that they're going to harvest all data to train the AI, right? And that's a several trillion-dollar company that is going to harvest every single person's data out there for profit, right? And I think we need to learn how to do better than that, how to either use data with consent or find other ways to bring artificial intelligence or Web3 to the world at service for people without compromising the privacy, with serving truly the needs of people. We need to learn from the past to define a better future for the generations to come. For whatever I look at every decision we take at Tomorrow Foundation through the lens of my kids. We embarked on a journey for the future of the internet that is going away from 2D pages that are connected in the internet, but into an interconnected 3D spaces where people will come together for all kinds of purposes. And we have to make sure when we do this, we maintain the line of inclusion, we maintain the line of accessibility, i.e. it's available for everyone. It's no matter from which socioeconomic background you come from, and no matter which device you are on, so there's no gatekeeping, right? We empower everybody because everybody should benefit from the future. So these are important notions, and also the business model. I don't like this view which has happened in the last decades where people create businesses for profits at the cost of planet and people, and then they build foundations to try to do good. And they do good, and it's still needed to be doing good. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, but they should, to begin with, build better profit models that are inherently right from the beginning. And we are trying to set an example for future startups to do right and think a bit harder. It's easier to earn money at cost of other things, but it's more gratifying and more sustainable to earn money and profits while you do good, while you empower people and planet. So a sustainable for-profit foundation model, I hope, will be an inspiration for others to go as well. Whether this is the future of the internet or AI or any kind of startup, I am 100% convinced it's applicable to any industry and any business. So I think learn from the past, respect being human, empower humanity, empower people and planet, and build and make sure your business model is doing right and good for people.
We have a couple of minutes left over. There's always one story I love when you tell it. It's like, why the hell, you could be sitting on a beach somewhere and just chill. Why the hell you do all this?
You know, it was interesting. We were in a company boat tour, right? Which was, we offset the carbon later, by the way. But interesting, somebody was like, you could do this every day. Yeah, but you know, I'm the kind of person that when I take a vacation, I get stressed about the fact that I'm not doing something for my kids. Stressed about the fact that I should be doing what my parents have been doing for us, which were, they worked their whole life to make a better future for us. And I think we owe it to new generations to do right and not just be about ourselves, but to be about anybody else around us as well. Whether it is our kids or people, we have to be compassionate. If we can do something about it, we should do something about it. And my philosophy is, in our world, in our capacity, we have the means to contribute to a better future of the internet, and that's what we embarked on. I know it's not a small goal, right? We're talking about nothing but the future of the internet, but I think we have a shot at it, at least changing the course of the current internet for good, right? And I really like doing the right thing in life. It's far more gratifying than to be on a beach and retire. And I think Dr. Ackermann is a person that will never retire too. As you can see, he's fully active, he's sharp as ever, and he's one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. Thank you again for joining our advisory board and adding to our journey.
It's a pleasure.
So thank you, everybody, and we have to leave you now. So thank you, Nico.
We have a few questions from the audience, so thanks for using Slido, and we're actually going to... Oh, sorry. I forgot the programming point. Exactly.
But I'll take one question, if there's one question.
I mean,
just Dr. Ackermann has to leave. He's on a schedule.
Okay, just like, what are the three biggest obstacles
Dr. Ackermann,
to make Web3 a reality?
He needs to leave urgently. That's fine. Thank you so much. I'll take one more question.
All right, let me sit down then with you guys. Thank you for Mr. Ackermann. yeah, the three biggest obstacles to overcome to make Web3 or the Internet of Life a reality.
Sorry, I was still distracted.
Yeah, three biggest obstacles we need to overcome to make it a reality.
Yeah, I think currently we should define Web3 more clearly, right?
Yep.
Or more broader, for that matter. I think the key issue right now is people have a certain mindset about Web3 being like crypto-based, for example, right? And that pushes people away. Or they think it's VR-based and they say, oh, I don't have a VR headset yet. Or they think about AR. Some people really do AR as Web3, but that's, again, is not ripe yet. So there's always a barrier, right? And I think what's key is that it becomes accessible to begin with, and we clarify it's in the needs of you. It's going to empower your needs. It's going to serve you in so many purposes in your life. And so being accessible, being inclusive, and being truly an inspirational experience. It has to be a great experience to begin with. Like any great game, right? It has to be delightful, it has to be amazing, it has to be truly next-gen, but not at the cost of access. Right?
One last question. Are there some kind of products or services that you think already reflect some of these ideas that you talked about, that one can use already today?
Yes, and I hate to plug our own thing here, but Stefanie is running our very interesting and exciting and next generation get-together for work, all kinds of reasons platform called The Room, under room3d.com. You can experience it today. Yeah, it's live, and it's going to launch.
We are in beta, and we are super happy to welcome you all as test users. So yeah, you can address me later, room3d.com, try it out. There's a free version, and give us feedback. It's beta. We're working very hard on it and need any feedback.
Yeah, and room3d.com encapsulates what Internet of Life is about as a first manifestation. It's accessible, running in the browser on every device. It provides a next generation experience of the future of the internet for a certain area of your life, which is like collaboration, co-working, co-creation, and things like that. And it gives you this get-together experience face-to-face. And there's even a Paris coffee shop where you can have a business meeting if you want. So it has amazing locations too.
Cevat, Stefanie, thank you so much. Again, thanks to Mr. Ackermann for joining us today.
Thank you.
And best of luck, with the launch.
Thank you.